vast country known for its stunning beaches and developed cities, holds an expanse so immense that it could encompass 9 countries the size of Pakistan. Despite its substantial landmass, Australia's population is surprisingly small, to the extent that if its land were evenly divided among its inhabitants, each person would receive approximately 73 acres. This sparse population is reflected in the fact that less than 4 people reside on average per square kilometre, with a population density rate of merely 3.4%. Over 80% of Australians inhabit coastal areas, while a staggering 95% of the nation's land remains uninhabited. This intriguing situation prompts questions about why Australia remains underpopulated and how it qualifies as a developed country despite its extensive and inhabited regions. Let's delve into these aspects. Australia is often considered the world's largest island. Its area exceeds 7.6 million square kilometres, ranking it as the 6th largest country globally. To put this into perspective, Australia is twice the size of India and 9 times larger than Pakistan. However, despite its vast landmass, Australia's population is only around 26 million people. This population size seems notably small when compared to India's population of over 1.4 billion and Pakistan's population of about 220 million. It's intriguing that Australia's area matches that of 48 US states, yet its population is smaller than that of California alone. Even when compared to European countries, Australia's vastness is underscored by its lower population, with only England having twice the population despite Australia being 32 times larger. A key characteristic of Australia's population distribution is its concentration along the coastlines, particularly in major metropolitan cities like Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, Perth, and Adelaide. These urban centres collectively house over 2/3 of Australia's total population. The country's urbanisation rate is remarkably high, with around 87% of its population residing in urban areas, occupying less than 1% of the entire land area. The uneven distribution of population becomes more striking upon examination of specific regions. For instance, the vast state of Western Australia, which occupies 1/3 of the country's land, is home to cities like East Pilbara, where a city's area equals that of Japan. Surprisingly, this city houses a mere 10,500 residents. Comparatively, Japan's population surpasses 125 million. Such dispersion is evident in the considerable distance between Australian cities like Kununurra in the north and Esperance in the south, which are separated by over 3,200 kilometres, connected by a seemingly desolate highway. The question then arises, why do Australians predominantly inhabit coastal regions, while vast interior territories remain sparsely populated? The primary factor shaping this distribution is Australia's challenging environment, characterised by drought, desert expanses, and barren lands. The Great Dividing Range, a vast mountain range running from north to south along Australia's east coast, obstructs the eastward progress of rain-bearing clouds, leading to arid conditions in the central and western regions. Additionally, the impact of cold winds from Antarctica on Australia's southern region inhibits rainfall. The resultant aridity, coupled with significant desert areas, makes much of Australia's interior inhospitable for settlement. Approximately 18% of Australia is fully desert, while an additional 35% experiences arid conditions. Furthermore, the presence of arid and semi-arid regions expands the uncultivated expanse to a staggering 70% of the total land area. Approximately 2/3 of Australia receives less than 500 millimetres of rainfall annually, exacerbating the arid conditions. Despite these challenges, Australia possesses ample water resources, with over 400 rivers dotting its landscape. However, the presence of large rivers does not negate the issues posed by drought and arid conditions. Water shortages, extreme weather events, and forest fires have significant ecological and societal impacts. Australia's agricultural sector remains crucial to its self-sufficiency, as it produces a variety of crops and maintains a substantial livestock industry. The country ranks high in the global production of various agricultural products, from pulses and wheat to cotton and fodder. Yet, even with its potential for agricultural productivity, only 6% of Australia's arable land is currently utilised. This limited agricultural use stands in stark contrast to the country's capacity to support a much larger population with its agricultural output. Australia's mineral wealth is also notable, with significant deposits of gold, coal, gas, copper, aluminium, diamonds, platinum, silver, nickel, and zinc. Additionally, its diverse ecosystems house unique wildlife, such as kangaroos, reflecting its distinct natural heritage. Australia's history is marked by waves of immigration, with its indigenous population having inhabited the continent for tens of thousands of years. European settlers arrived in the 1600s, followed by various European groups seeking opportunities and resources. Australia's history includes periods of racist policies, such as the White Australia policy, which restricted immigration based on race. These policies were gradually dismantled after World War II, leading to a more diverse population that includes people of European, Asian, and African descent. Australia's diverse landscape encompasses not only vast deserts and barren lands, but also expansive forests, reflecting the extremes of its weather patterns. While Australia ranks among the top 10 countries globally in terms of forest area, with its woodlands covering 18% of the country's total land area, its unique environmental conditions pose significant challenges. Interestingly, many of Australia's forests are situated near coastal regions, a geographical characteristic that contributes to the nation's ecological tapestry. However, the country's extreme weather, often marked by scorching temperatures, creates a perilous situation for these forested areas. The forests of New South Wales, for example, frequently experience fires ignited by intense heat. The devastating fires in 2019 and 2020 consumed over 60 million acres of land, leaving a trail of chud trees in their wake. This dire situation not only impacts the natural landscape, but also poses a grave threat to the diverse array of animal species that inhabit these areas. The unique challenges that Australia's environment presents are intricately tied to its history of settlement. The country's colonisation occurred relatively late in comparison to other regions, leading to a still small population. This historical backdrop accounts for the presence of unique animal species that thrive within Australia's forests, species that are found nowhere else on the planet. However, these very species are now facing existential threats due to the country's increasingly extreme weather conditions. The intersection of climate change and human activity has created a precarious situation that endangers the very biodiversity that makes Australia's ecosystem exceptional. Adding to these ecological pressures, Australia has witnessed a marked increase in extreme weather events. A staggering 7 of the 10 warmest years recorded in Australia have occurred since 2005. Such climatic shifts contribute to a domino effect, extending beyond the natural realm to impact vital resources like water. The nation's riverine areas are grappling with severe water shortages, and the scarcity is further exacerbated by the concentration of rivers in coastal regions. In contrast, the central areas of the country, which could potentially be transformed into productive landscapes, suffer from water scarcity due to the negligible presence of significant rivers. The query arises, why has Australia, with its vast resources, not implemented measures to mitigate these challenges? The nation's vast deserts and barren lands might seem inhospitable, yet the presence of over 400 rivers, including sizable ones like the Murray River, contradicts the assumption of water scarcity. The untapped potential of these water resources has prompted proposals such as the Bradfield Scheme, conceived by Dear John Bradfield in 1938. This ambitious plan aimed to transport water from North Queensland's rivers through an extensive network of pipelines, tunnels, pumps, and dams to areas suffering from water deficits. However, the scheme's staggering projected cost and practicality issues led to its rejection. Despite the seeming abundance of water resources, the reality remains that only a small percentage of Australia's arable land is cultivated. This disparity underscores a critical discrepancy in resource utilisation, considering the fact that Australia possesses twice as much water as Pakistan. Surprisingly, a mere 6% of Australia's 30% arable land is actively cultivated, a fact that pales in comparison to the agricultural output of neighbouring countries like Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines. Yet, despite these challenges, Australia's population of 25 million remains dwarfed by the potential capacity of its arable land. This unique scenario highlights the nation's self-sufficiency in food production and its ability to provide for its citizens. This capacity is set against the backdrop of predictions by experts that Australia's population could surge to around 40 million by 2050, driven in part by the need to address potential labour shortages and support the functioning of a country of such vast dimension